Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to share with you the top 11 things to do in Branson, Missouri with your family on your next vacation there. So just so you know, we just came back from our vacation in Branson, Missouri. I have a family of 4. We have a 6-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter. So all the things that I mentioned are going to be things that you could do with young children. Now, I will talk about a few honorable mentions at the end of the video, along with a peek into our cabin so that you can see what a cabin might look like if you want to stay in a cabin in Branson as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first place on my list is the Branson Craft Mall, and also there's a restaurant inside the mall called the Pick and Porch Grill. Now, we loved going here as a family because we had just gotten there on our long trip driving down, and we decided to stop in the mall and just look around really casually, and then we had supper at the Pick and Porch Grill. Now at the grill you can order your food and then you can sit down, and they have live music that plays every single evening, so that was really fun and just relaxing after we'd been driving all day. Next on the list is the Branson Grand Jubilee Show. This is a show that features a quartet called New South, and then there's comedy, there's just entertainment. It was so fun. My 6-year-old loved it. He watched the entire time. He laughed, I laughed. My husband loves music, so he enjoyed the music part. And my 2-year-old, I will say, she did get a little bit antsy, but for the most part, she did just fine. And the show doesn't start until, I'm trying to think, I think it started at 7:30 and it goes for 2 hours. So she ended up falling asleep around 9 o'clock, but that was fine. We still enjoyed the show, and it's definitely family friendly. I would say it's rated PG. There's nothing like really bad in the show, but there are some jokes that may be a little bit PG. Number 3 on the list is indoor go-karts, which is also at the Grand Country. So the Grand Country is this big kind of resort. It has an inn, it has the live shows, it has a fun spot, and in the fun spot you can do an indoor go-kart, which my son loved doing. Number 4 on the list is miniature putt-putt golf. So this again is an indoor one that you can go to, and we enjoyed it because there are so many different putt-putts around Branson, but a lot of them are outdoors. So if you're going in the summer when it's hot, it's really nice to be able to do your miniature golf inside where there's air conditioning. Number 5 on the list is Hertz Donut. And if you've never been to a Hertz Donut before, then let me tell you, you're in for a real treat. And by treat, I'm not just talking about the donuts. It's just a fun experience overall. The donuts are huge. They have so many different types of flavors and varieties that you can choose from. And we've liked every single one that we've gotten. Number 6 on the list is the Branson Landing. Now, this is an area where you can go and walk on the sidewalk. There's no cars on this area. There's lots of shops, there's restaurants, there's a zip line that goes across a river, which is really fun to watch. I haven't actually ridden on it, but it's so fun to watch other people riding on it. Number 7 is the DOLLY PARTON Stampede. So my kids loved this. It was so much fun because you get to see a live show with horses and other animals, and then trick riding on the horses. There's just a lot of costumes, and it really keeps your attention. And then there's also food provided. Now I will say that I wish they had a kid option for food. The portions were just so big, and my kids didn't even eat half of the food that they were given, but it was still a fun evening, and I would definitely recommend going if you have never been. Number 8 on the list is WONDERWORKS. So this building is so fun on the outside. It actually looks like it's a building that's turned upside down, and every time we would drive by it, my son would be like, I want to go there. And so finally on the last day we did end up going to WONDERWORKS, and it's just kind of a fun, almost like a hands-on museum. There's scientific things, but it's just like fun things that you wouldn't get to do anywhere else. So there was a lot of hands-on 3D exhibits that my kids really enjoyed. There's some rides that you can go on. I laid on a bed of nails at one point and crossed that fear off my list. And so it's just a lot of fun, and you will definitely enjoy that with your kids. Number 9 on the list is Sammy Lane's Sweets and Treats. So we went here for homemade ice cream in the evening. What's really nice about this place is it's super clean and it's really tasty, but it's also away from the crowds. So a lot of the ice cream places down the main drags of Branson are just busy and you have to deal with the traffic, but Sammy Lane's Sweet Treats is off from the main city, not too far, like it's not a very far drive, but it's far enough where you're gonna avoid all the crowds. And it's actually at what's called Shepherd of the Hills, which is an amusement park and a show place. Number 10 and 11 on my list are actually right outside of Branson. They're north of Branson in Springfield. So if you have never been to Springfield, it's about 30 to 40 minutes north of Branson, but it's definitely worth the drive to go visit the Bass Pro Shops. This is where the original Bass Pro Shop was, and you get to go in there and you get to see all kinds of different wildlife. You get to see, there's like 3 or 4 museums within the store, and it's just a gigantic store to go and look at, things that you wouldn't normally see at other stores. So it's definitely worth going and seeing. And then also in Springfield, and this is number 11, is Lambert's. So Lambert's is a cafe or restaurant. It's a super fun environment, and really the food I would say is mediocre. I mean, it's good, but it's not like anything that you would want to just, you know, eat a lot of. It didn't have a ton of flavor, but it was still good. The main thing to go there for is the experience. One thing that they're known for is their throwed rolls. So there is literally a person that walks out with a tray of rolls and he throws them to you. You have to get your hands ready, and he will throw the roll to you and you can catch it. They also have what they call pass-alongs, I believe, and there's people that will walk around with like a giant bowl of fried okra or fried potatoes, and they'll just spoon it onto your plate for free, and you get to add that to your meal. And it's just, like I said, a very fun environment. My kids just enjoyed being there. They didn't necessarily love the food, but they really enjoyed the atmosphere. I do want to mention really quickly before I get into our honorable mentions for things that we plan to do on our next trip or things that we have done before, I wanted to show you our cabin. So we decided to stay in a small cabin. It's right off of the main drag of Branson, so you're not in the traffic, but at the same time you're close enough where it just takes a few minutes to get to all of the main activities. So that was in the perfect location. We found it on Airbnb. So if you've never used Airbnb, you can use my referral link below to get $30 off your first night at any Airbnb location. But especially if you want to book a cabin at Branson, I would highly recommend the ones that we stayed in. So I will leave a link to that below as well. Okay, here are 5 honorable mentions. Some of them we have done and some of them we haven't. The first is Silver Dollar City. So Silver Dollar City is basically a theme park that's set in the old Wild West. You can go and see live shows, singing, there's all kinds of food, there's all kinds of rides. It's a really fun place to visit. Number 2 on our honorable mentions is the PRESLEY'S Country-Jubilee. Now this is a comedy and music show, and it's advertised for the whole family. We have never been, but we definitely want to go the next time that we visit. Next is the Branson Scenic Railroad. Now we haven't been on this one either, but it's another one that we want to add to our list. It goes through the mountains and you get to see a lot of scenic areas, and just going on an old train is something that you don't get to do normally. Next on our list is the Shepherd of the Hills. Now I mentioned this earlier with the ice cream spot. The ice cream spot is actually right on the outside of Shepherd of the Hills. You can park there and use their parking and go to the ice cream store without having to buy tickets to get into Shepherds of the Hill. But if you want to do the adventure course or you want to go to one of their shows, well then you need to have tickets to go into Shepherd of the Hills. And so we plan on doing that the next time that we go to Branson. All right, last on our honorable mention list is the Branson roller coaster. So we didn't do it this last time, but I went on it before when we visited Branson. It's super fun. You ride on a cart all by yourself and you get to control the speed as you're going up and down the mountains. So it's really fun just to be able to see the scenic route. You can go as fast or as slow as you want. And again, it's an experience that you won't get anywhere else. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I hope that you enjoy your trip to Branson.